and welcome to Wallkill Valley Regional High School for tonight's BT Broadcasting Boys Basketball Game of the Week. Tonight it features the High Point Wildcats going on the road to take on the Wallkill Valley Rangers. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jordan Catelli, alongside with Brian Thomas at BT Basketball. Tonight's game featuring the Wildcats, a High Point coming in led by head coach Jesse Trell with a 15-5 mark on the season. They come in currently riding a 3-game winning streak and currently 10-0 in the NJAC Colonial Division. And for the Wallkill Valley Rangers, they come in there with a record of 8-13 on the season, 2-8 in the NJAC Freedom Division, very tough division there. They're led by head coach Ed Pava. They're coming off their latest win against Newton, 69-41. And these two teams met early in the season. Brian, Wallkill getting the better of the High Point Wildcats in the holiday tournament. I'll bring in my partner, Brian Thomas. Brian, set the stage for us tonight. What do you expect to see out of these two ball clubs?
Yeah, I was actually at that game earlier on in December, and it was a great game. I mean, Wallkill came out and played really well throughout the duration of the game. And of course, that's 6-7 weeks ago, and they're probably very different teams at this point, which is kind of how it works. So this is going to be an excellent game. I think these are two very evenly matched teams, so I'm looking forward to this one tonight. Tonight's game is sponsored by Wingle. They provide excavating, paving, and full-service septic services, which includes installations, repairs, and tank pumping service. You can call 973-875-2478. Or you can visit their website at rwingle.com for more information. We also want to thank Wallkill Valley High School for having us out here tonight. Athletic Director Daryl Jones always is taking care of us. And of course, make sure you check out BrianThomasBasketball.com.
As we see the Wallkill Valley Rangers getting introduced. Let's give you the starting lineups for the Wallkill Valley Rangers. Number 10, Jaden Galarza. Number 11, Chris Bila. Number 33, Nick Gibson. Number 44, Indo Ortiz. And the man to watch, number 2, Dylan Klukowski. And for the High Point Wildcats, the 5 starting the floor for them. Number 21, Braden Franco, the senior. Number 2, senior Jacob Gunta. Number 1, sophomore Slade Muller. The junior, number 4, Noah Riley. And sophomore, number 22, Colin Tennant. We'll step aside as we have the playing of the national anthem.
Wow, that's a great way to start us off, huh, Jordan?
Tough to follow that. We'll try here, though, as we get ready for the opening tip. Beautiful singing there of the national anthem by one of the Wallkill Valley Rangers students. As the Wallkill Valley Rangers take the floor in the home black jerseys tonight. And the High Point Wildcats will be sporting the red tops and red shorts for this evening's contest.
We're going to watch for Wallkill to come out likely in a 2-3 zone. And High Point, their biggest strength all year has been their outside shooting, their three-point shooting. When they catch fire between Braden Franco, with Jacob, with Noah, they can really get going really quickly. So if Wallkill does come out in this 2-3, they're going to have to close all the way out to the shooters beyond the three-point line. Whereas Wallkill, they're a bit of a contrast in style, Jordan, where Wallkill really wants to attack the basket and be physical. Chris Billa really likes to attack the basket hard and finish with offensive rebounds. So here's that 2-3 from Wallkill starting us off.
Getting his hand in the passing lane is Nick Gibson, forcing the turnover. Quick double coming near the half-court line. Knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with the Wildcats.
I'm talking to Coach Ed Pava before the game. That was their game plan. You know what? We're gonna start out in this 2-3, which they like to play, but we're going to extend it a little bit because of those shooters. So you can see that here.
High Point working it around. Franco finishes with the easy two.
And that's also what the High Point Wildcats are going to have to do tonight, is not just settle for the threes, but use a shot fake, use a little rip through, and get to the basket for a layup or a quick floater.
It's a High Point team that's currently won 3 in a row. They've scored 60 or more in each of their 3 victories during that winning streak. Ed Pava saying pregame, saying that if we don't defend, we'll be in trouble tonight. And a nice up and under, unable to finish though, is Ortiz, rebounded by the Wildcats. This is Noah Riley with the left hand, short. Put back, can't get it to go is Tennant. Loose ball on the floor, and looks like we'll have a jump ball. Possession arrow to Wallkill.
Neither team will be afraid to push the pace today. They're definitely gonna be looking for easy buckets, but as they push the pace, especially High Point, look out for those three-point shooters spotting up on the wings and in the corners.
Kwiatkowski working on his opposite number. Billa, long 2. Off the back iron. Rebound ripped down by Cole Tennant.
And Tennant doing a nice job being active early in this game. He is a vital part of this on the offensive, defensive rebounds on the backboards for High Point.
Driving kick, Franco can't hit.
Go.
Rebound, Tennant can't get it to go. Third opportunity, basket goes and the foul, Slade Muller.
All started by Colin Tennant being aggressive and getting another opportunity for the High Point Wildcats, and Muller cleans it up.
So Muller heads to the line for a chance at a three-point play. And he connects, and High Point's off to a quick 5-0 start.
Wallkill going to be very active against this man-to-man. They're going to set screens. They're going to look to curl and cut to the basket. So weak side help and communication is going to be vital for High Point.
They try to feed it down to Bila. And it's going to be last touch off the Rangers, going back to the Wildcats.
The backside of this 2-3 zone's got to make sure they find bodies and box out so we can limit the Wildcats just to one possession, one shot.
Franco, the floater, off the mark. Chris Bila will push for it, push for the Rangers here. Gibson going to work down low. Has it deflected, last touch off of High Point.
I know High Point coming into this game is looking at this game as Muller gets the steal and the easy bucket. As Jordan, more of a revenge game. They felt like they shouldn't have let that one slip away back in December, and they want to prove that they're the better team here tonight.
We're off to a quick 7-0 start here. 2.5 minutes gone by in the first quarter.
Of course, conversely, Wallkill wants to prove that it wasn't a fluke in that first game in December.
Kwiatkowski launches a 3, no good. Rebounded by Ortiz. Galarza's put back, no good. And it'll be going back up to the Wildcats.
So far, you couldn't draw it up much better for High Point because not only they're up 7-0, but they haven't actually hit a 3 yet, which again is their bread and butter. So you know that's coming at some point. And there's Jacob as we speak.
First 3 fired off the mark, rebounded by the Wildcats.
High Point mixing up their defense a little bit. Now they're in a 2-3, changing it up on the Rangers.
They forced a turnover here. It's Franco in transition. Gets it to go. Timeout Ed Pava, and it's a 9-0 High Point lead to start here in this first quarter.
That's a tough sequence by Franco, getting in the passing lanes and kind of weaving his way through a couple of Ranger defenders with a finish that had a pretty high level of difficulty. So give a lot of credit to High Point. That's their second or third steal already getting in the passing lanes. And I have no doubt that Coach Pave was talking about, look, we got to tighten up on our turnovers. We got to make sure that our passing angles are better, and we got to make sure we're boxing out and rebounding. And to be quite honest with you, their shot selection hasn't been great so far in the first 3+ minutes. So let's see if they can make some changes out of this timeout.
4:42 remaining here in the first quarter. 9-0 High Point lead. It's a High Point team that is 10-0 in the NJAC Colonial. They currently sit 6th in North 1 Group 2 as the PowerPoint stand today.
And now High Point coming up into a press where they're going to look to trap right here.
They forced a quick double. Klokowski dribbles out of it and gives it up to Bila. Klokowski, long 2, off the mark. And a whistle and a foul here on Bila, and Bila had the rebound.
That's where Chris is at his best, just high energy, attacking the basket, but he's kind of like a bit of a pogo stick where he gets off the floor so quickly for that first offensive rebound.
And knocked out of bounds there by Slade Muller. We'll keep it here and do it again.
Coach Jesse Strell of High Point is doing a nice job early of switching up defenses and keeping Wallkill on their toes.
Wallkill gets it in. This is Ortiz, and gets it to go, and the Rangers are on the board with their first 2 of the game.
Tough shot by Ortiz with that left hand. Nice little floater from about 9 feet.
Long 3 there, got it.
And that's what Noah can do. He can walk right into that 3, 4, 5 feet beyond the three-point line.
First 3 for the Wildcats tonight, increases the lead to 10. Driving to the basket is Galararza, and he draws the foul. He'll head to the line. So he's off on the first. We'll have a substitution for High Point. Tennant will head to the bench. And checking in is Kyle Willis. As going 1 for 2 is Galararza.
We'll have to see how long Wallkill stays in their 2-3 zone if High Point continues to play really well against it. My guess is they're going to stick with it because that's kind of their bread and butter all year. But if High Point, I mean, they've already got 12 points, you know, a little more than halfway through this first quarter. They continue to slice and dice it. They may consider a change.
High Point gets a turnover here. And getting another 2 is Bila.
A nice hanging floater from Chris over the outstretched arms of Willis.
This is Riley.
Good movement so far.
Riley lets it fly off the back iron. Rebound comes down to Wallkill. Ortiz, or pardon me, that was Klokowski with the 3. It was off the mark, rebounded by High Point. Letting it fly this time is Franco. He can't connect, and last touch out of bounds off Muller, and he'll head to the head back up to Wallkill.
But those are good shots for the Wildcats. The one that Riley took the possession before, and the one that Braden just took right now. You know, they're going to hit those a whole lot throughout the course of a game and a season. That's their bread and butter. So those are great shots for them.
High Point forces the takeaway here, but Wallkill just gets it right back. Bila tried to feed it to Klokowski, and a reach-in foul there called against Franco.
And you can see Billa's energy and activity on both ends of the floor is huge. Again, we've already seen his offensive rebounding and his attacking of the basket, but his energy getting into the passing lanes on defense is vital as well.
Kyle Morcell will check in for Noah Riley.
And Kyle is a big key off the bench for these High Point Wildcats.
High Point defense forcing the takeaway, and that was Kyle Willis getting his hands up in there, forcing the turnover. Catch and shoot Goyinta.
I think Wallkill's got to be happy to only be down 7 at this point. The way they started and the way High Point started, I mean, this could easily be a 15-point game. But they seem to have plugged the holes at least for a little while here.
Klukowski here, big possession here. Wallkill and cut it down to 4 or 5. Corner 3 put up by Ortiz. No good, rebounded by Franco. It certainly did get off to as rough of a start for Wallkill as they could have imagined.
Yeah.
Down 9-0. They were down by as many as 10 in this first quarter. They're down 7 now. Catch and release, Gunta travel.
Drag that back foot just a little bit. Jacobs got such a quick first step. At that time, he was a little bit ahead of himself.
So Noah Riley will check back in. Jacob Gunta will head to the bench. And Walker will have it here. Klukowski bringing it over. And tried to feed it down low to Galararza.
Nice idea. But the communication just a little bit off. But High Point's gotten cold here for a little bit, which has certainly helped Wallkill and is certainly a part of their defense. Here's Morcell.
He tries the 3, dies off the back iron. Last touch off Wallkill, and it'll stay with High Point.
Now, Franco takes it out. You got to keep an eye on him. They like to run him off of a screen back to either corner when he takes the ball out of bounds underneath their own basket. And here he comes back to the corner. It was read well by Wallkill.
Wallkill forces the turnover, and they look to push in transition. Klukowski with the right hand off the window and good.
Nice job by Wallkill with the turnover and then pushing it up quickly.
Under a minute to play, 12-7 High Point leads. Wallkill's crawled their way back into it. They feed it down inside to Willis. Willis, he gets it to go. Nice job.
Great job, Willis, attacking the basket and using the glass down low.
Klukowski to Ortiz. This is Bila. Tough shot contested there, no good. Rebounded by Franco. This is Noah Riley bringing it up. 22 and running to play here in the quarter. Willis short with the bunny, can't get it to go. Bila pushing here for Wallkill. Gives it up. Galararza can't get it to go. This is Sladen Muller down to 5 and running. And a whistle and a foul. And with 1.9 showing, High Point will have it side out.
Plenty of time to get a shot off. There it is.
Catch and shoot, off the mark, Braden Franco. So the first quarter will come to a close with High Point holding a 14-7 lead. We'll step aside, come back. Second quarter action coming up from Wallkill Valley High School right after this. Back here at Wallkill Valley Regional High School, I'm bringing my partner Brian Thomas. We get ready to start the second quarter. Brian, we like to have to thank some sponsors getting this game back on the air tonight.
Yeah, tonight's game is brought to you by Wingle. They provide excavating, paving, and full-service septic services, which includes installations, repairs, and tank pumping service. Call 973-875-2478, or you can visit their website at rwingle.com for more information. Check them out.
So Wallkill Valley with High Point with a 14-7 lead as Noah Riley hits the three to make it 17-7. It's now a 10-point advantage. It's as high as it's been thus far for the Wildcats. And if you're Ed Pavin, in Wallkill, they got off to a rough start, Brian. They were down 9-0 to start.
Right.
They stemmed the tide a little bit, stopped the leak, and hitting a three here in the corner is into Ortiz. And what do you expect here from the Rangers?
Well, bottom line is when you're hitting shots, life is always better. So if they can hit a few more shots, they've gotten decent shots. That's a big shot from Ortiz right there, but they have to make sure they're getting all the way out to those three-point shooters as we've been talking about throughout this game, because that is what the High Point team is built on. And Morcell with that little jumper. I got to tell you, Jordan, Morcell from that 10 to 12-foot range is excellent. He's got that little floater. We're going to see more of that from him tonight.
We've seen a lot of the mid-range game from this High Point team as a whole. Not too many threes. Seen a few of them here and there in the first quarter, in the first minute and a half here in the second. Catch and release three. Klukowski got it.
And Dylan can certainly do that. They're going to have to make sure they get out to guard him. So Wallkill with a couple threes early in the second quarter.
Noah Riley gives it up to Franco. Back to Riley. Catch and release three. Short. Rebound, put back, good. It's Willis.
Excellent job meeting the ball at the rim, and a great decision to not come down and reload because he was already right there. So he figured, hey, I'm just going to let it fly off the glass. Three-point play opportunity upcoming.
Willis off on the free throw, rebounded by Nick Gibson. Ortiz drives, pass high for Galarza.
And now let's see, Wallkill's looking like they're going to change it up a little bit. They're in a 1-3-1 now. So coming out of that 2-3, you got Dylan up top on the one. There's Morcell again,
No
Jordan.
deeper.
That little floater, man, I'm telling you.
Morcell drives baseline, gets it to 2, and it's back to 10, a 10-point advantage for High Point. Klukowski gives it up to Bila. Bila lets it fly from the corner, no good, tipped back out into the hands of Ortiz. His floater, no good.
Great D by Willis there, contesting that shot, using his length and forcing Ortiz to put a little extra juice on that shot.
Nice effort by Ortiz to chase down his rebound all the way back out near half court. And Wallkill inbound side out in front of the High Point bench.
Now we got a little flow to this game here, Jordan, on both sides. Teams are feeling a little bit better.
Bila gets it to go and one.
Willis he had it contested well, just brought those arms down just a little bit. Refs are going to call that every time. Chris once again attacking the basket, using his body effectively.
And he gets it to go and converts on the three-point play. It's now down to 7.
And now back into the 2-3. So Coach Ed Pava mixing it up a little bit, much like Coach Jesse Strell has done so far this evening.
They've tried to feed it down into Willis. Willis has his pocket picked. It's Ortiz. Tried to feed it down to Galarza, pardon me, and unable to do so. High Point in transition. Noah Riley's floater, no good. Gibson, Klukowski, long three, short.
Nice box out by Franco. And here's High Point looking to run, looking to push that pace. trying to set up before, or trying to really score before they can get set up.
Long three off the mark there by Franco. Out of bounds, back to Wallkill. So Muller and Tennant will check back in.
A nice job, Jordan, by both Morcell and Willis, giving High Point some really big and important minutes here in this second quarter.
So those two will head back to the bench.
A lot of movement here by Wallkill. You got to love it. Weak side and communication is going to be critical for the Wildcats defensively.
Klukowski to Ortiz. Ortiz will bring it back out. Klukowski.
High Point has played a good possession here, but you can't fall asleep with this amount of movement. One quick back door, and you're smoked.
Klukowski guarded by Gunta.
There's a double high pick and roll. They've run effectively a couple times so far.
Klukowski, tough shot, can't get it to go. Nice defense there by Gunta, forcing Klukowski out wide on the bad angle.
Excellent defensive sequence by High Point.
Catch and release three. Gunta can't get it to go. Klukowski with the rebound. Klukowski goes up and draws the foul. Can't get it to go, but he'll head to the line for a pair.
That's when Dylan is at his best, not just standing outside the three-point line and letting him fly, which he's really good at, but also he's a big, strong kid. And when he's attacking the basket and using his strength and using his body, that opens up his three-point shot immensely.
So he hits the first, does Klukowski. Substitutions for both teams. Ethan Munoz and Ryan Genie will check in.
Now, Ryan is actually, we got our numbers crisscrossed here. It's funny, I was just actually about to talk about Ryan. Ryan actually is been out the entire year with an ACL tear. But I was just talking to Ryan before the game, which has been a huge blow for Wallkill, but I was just talking to Ryan before the game, and he's actually on well beyond pace for coming back as Noah Riley hits a three. So we're really proud of Ryan for the work that he's put in. He tore it back in September, so he's about the 6-month mark or so. And he's going to be way ahead of schedule based on his work ethic and everything that he's done. So, Ryan, keep up the good work. Looking forward to seeing you back here next year.
Well, thank you, Brian, for that correction.
All good.
My apologies there, Ryan.
Yeah, we'll get that number right.
We'll check on that in between quarters. So it'll be High Point possession with 2:38 to play and a 9-point lead over Wallkill. This is Noah Riley. Catch and release. Morcell got it.
And this is what we've seen a lot from High Point in the past. Once they start feeling that, you know what, they can hit 3, 4, 5 in a row, and it can really be such a major problem for the opposite team. They just can't stem the tide, and a 5-point game goes to 15 just like that.
This is Ethan Munoz to Klukowski. Munoz lets it fly. 3 off the mark. Rebounded by Muller.
Excellent box out by Muller. And here they come again, moving it for another wide open 3.
Riley, short. Tip back out. Lets it fly. Morcell got it again. Or pardon me, that was Franco.
And the bank is open. Hold on, let me check my watch. About 7:40 on a Thursday evening.
After hours.
After hours, baby.
Wallkill lets it fly from the corner, off the mark. Rebounded by Morcell. And this is Franco pushing ahead for High Point. He gives it up. Letting it fly is Riley. His 3 is off the mark.
They aren't shy, are they?
No, they are letting it fly or feeling it in the final 2 minutes here of this second quarter.
And that's why they're so tough, because it's as a team. I mean, you know, you got multiple guys out there that can catch and shoot quickly. And you got to find them.
Munoz dribble drive with the right hand, gets it to go.
Wallkill needed that basket in a big way, didn't they?
Just to stem the tide, get a little something going. They're down 13, less than a minute to play. And Riley draws the contact and a foul.
Looks like Willis is going to check back into the game. He's given them great minutes so far, especially here in the second quarter.
So he'll check in. Cole Tennant will head to the bench.
Again, Jordan, let's watch for Franco, who's taking the ball out right now. Could be coming back to either corner off of a screen. Also watch for Willis diving right down to the block.
Catch and release three.
Oh, wow.
Halfway down and out. Morcell.
The way this is going for High Point, you just figured that was going down, right?
Answering on the other end is Bila.
Huge answer by Chris, doing what he does best. And boy, they needed that one as well to try to cut back into this lead before the half. Be interesting to see if he makes this free throw, if they come with some sort of pressure. Now would be the time to do it. With only 34.7 left in this second quarter. Maybe catch him off guard a little bit, maybe surprise him a little bit. And who knows, quick steal, turnover, another bucket.
Chris hits
and
on
here
the free
it is.
throw.
There we go, Jordan. Coming all the way up.
Full court press here put on by the Rangers.
Trying to force High Point into a bad decision.
Instead, it ends up for a 2 for High Point.
Morsel with the mid-range once again.
And Wallkill presumably looked to hold for the final shot of this first half. Klukowski lets a 3 fly from the top of the key.
You presumed incorrect, man. These teams are both letting it fly.
No
It doesn't
good.
matter.
High Point in transition, getting it to go, Morcell.
What a big change of events right there, huh, Jordan?
And it's
Wow.
a 14-point High Point advantage at the end of the half. A late flurry by the Wildcats. They found their rhythm from 3, and they made them count. So it's 36-22 at the end of the first half. We'll step aside. Second half action coming up from Wallkill Valley High School right after this. And we're back here at Wallkill Valley Regional High School. Started the third quarter between the Wallkill Valley Rangers and the High Point Wildcats. High Point with a 36-22 lead to start the third quarter. It'll be Wallkill possession. Bringing my partner, Brian Thomas. Brian, you'd like to thank our sponsors for this evening.
Yeah, absolutely. Tonight's game is brought to you by Wingle. They provide excavating, paving, and full-service septic services, which includes installations, repairs, and tank pumping service. Call 973-875-2478, or you can visit their website at rwingle.com for more information. They actually installed my septic system, so I could tell you firsthand they do an excellent job. Also want to thank Wallkill Valley High School and Athletic Director Dale Jones. They always take care of us and do a great job. And make sure you check out BrianThomasBasketball.com. We got our second round of spring AAU tryouts coming up this coming Sunday as Noah Riley goes in for the layup. Again, check it all out at BrianThomasBasketball.com.
So it's now, with Noah Riley's basket, it's now a 16-point advantage, the largest of the evening for High Point. Ortiz answers with a deuce of his own.
You know High Point's going to come these first couple of minutes, Jordan, and try just to lay the knockout blow for these High Point Wildcats and really just put this game out of reach. So Wallkill's got to be really intent on keeping this game within range coming into the fourth quarter.
High Point's found their stroke from range, from deep.
Did they ever? Oh my gosh.
And Brian, like you said, like just a couple of possessions, you know, you think you're in it, it's a 5 to 7 point game. The next thing you know, you're down 15. And that was the case with Wallkill in that second quarter.
And that's been the story of their season. You know, maybe they start out slow, but they find that 2 or 3 minute part of the game where they just go nuts and they blow the game wide open.
They outscored Wallkill 22-15 in that second quarter, as the putback is good there by High Point. Galarza can't get it to go with the right. Bila with the rebound. Gibson fires a long three, got it.
Big shot from Nick Gibson beyond the three-point line. Looks like we got a little something here.
A whistle, yeah, no.
Chris is laughing because him and Braden are actually friends, so whatever was going on there may have been misconstrued by the officials.
No technicals administered or anything like that, nope.
Klakowski gonna come all the way up. And now Wallkill into a straight man-to-man.
This is Franco. Gives it to Tennant. Franco has his pocket picked. Bila. Fouled. So he'll head to the line for a pair.
Nice job by Chris of continuing to be active and using his energy. Braden thought he might have had a clean one from behind. Got a little bit of arm.
He hits on the first. Hits 1 and 2. Rebound by Tennant.
Smart move, Jordan, with Coach Ed Pava going to a man-to-man. They were sitting in that zone, and the three-point line was just too much. But
Morcell
hasn't seemed to matter so far.
It's a 15-point advantage here for High Point. Klakowski gives it back up. And Ortiz lost it on the way through, but it was deflected out of his hands. Last touch off High Point. And it'll be Nick Gibson inbound underneath. His impound pass goes awry into the hands of Nick Riley. Riley gives it up, nice dish, and a easy two from Morcell.
And there's that floater once again from Morcell. He has just had an excellent offensive game here as the Wildcats go up 17 points. And since we're here at Wallkill Valley High School, we're going to do something a little bit different than we've ever done before. We're actually going to give the headset over to none other than Miss Jackie Shells.
Hello.
Hello, Jack. First of all, Jackie, congratulations on a big win earlier today against Kittatinny.
Thank you, thank you.
Tell us a little bit about how that game went. That's a big upset for you guys.
Yeah, 100%. It was a really close game, back and forth the entire game pretty much. And Kate Fahrenfeld, she was very clutch down the stretch.
Okay, Kate?
She was fouled on a 3, made all 3 free throws, had a nice layup, good steal.
All right.
And we were able to pull it out on free throws and good defense and things like that. But it was back and forth the whole game, super exciting.
So you guys got off this season in December, even early January, to a pretty rough start, which was, you know, not necessarily unexpected because you guys were so young. You only have 2 seniors on your team. But you guys have really started to put it together over the last couple of weeks. You got some big wins, and Kittatinny is a huge win for you guys. Tell us about what you think you guys have been able to accomplish as a team, progressing from, you know, tryouts in November until right now.
Yeah, totally. I think the biggest thing is we were just able to learn how we play together and how everyone plays with each other and tendencies of our teammates and stuff like that. And, you know, we're getting used to the plays, getting used to, you know, how the offense actually works. It's their first time, you know. It's our first time as a team, you know, playing defense. And so just little minute things like that they're all improving, and I think this is the best time for it all to come together going into states right down the stretch. So.
As Wallkill comes with a full court press here, let's see if High Point can handle it. You have had a monster season individually. If you haven't been following girls basketball, you know, we're in the range of Jackie's averaging around 32 points a game, about 14 or 15 rebounds, somewhere in the range of 8 or 9 blocks, with some absurd Giannis, Embiid, Jokic type stat lines of 44 and 15 and 11 and 38 and 20 and 11 and 3/4, just silly type stuff, like cartoon video game stuff. But what I want you to tell the audience, people listening, is how have you gotten to this point individually? Tell us about your off-season work ethic and how you've been able to grow as a player for you.
Yeah, well, it's all that BT training.
Oh, come on now.
No, but
come on now.
No, I think
that wasn't a setup, by the way.
I think, you know, each year, you know, after your season, I think it's really important to reflect on your strengths and weaknesses, and, you know, taking it, you know, all the weaknesses individually and looking at, you know, each one and just each off season, improving those piece by piece, and then, you know, like it's happened for me by senior year, I was able to just, you know, have a pretty well-rounded game by each off season working on something different.
As Slade Muller, possible 3-point play.
And then, you know, everything, you know, is coming together for me, thankfully, and just, you know, focusing on every weakness and taking it day by day.
Well, you're being a little bit humble, and I respect that. You are one of the hardest workers that I've ever had the pleasure to be around. Not just what you've done, you know, with us in practices, but, you know, you're cut from the same cloth that your off-season work, you're always in the gym, you're always working on your jump shot. You know what, and we've talked about this on the air before, their biggest weakness has been your mid-range jumper. What did Jackie do in the off-season? Elevated her mid-range jumper, and now over 1,000 rebounds in your career. You're, you know, only a few dozen points away from being the all-time leading scorer in Wallkill Valley history, boys and girls. So you've done some amazing things. We are incredibly proud of you.
Thank you.
As a community, and looking forward to see how you finish this year as a team, as an individual, and also on to your college career. So, Jack, keep it up.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Great job, Jackie.
Thank you.
As High Point has actually extended their lead all the way up to 20.
48-28 our score, 3:41 to play. Going to be a High Point inbound underneath. Three there by a High Point attempt, short, rebounded by the Rangers. This is Klakowski. Bila lost it in the lane. Coming out with it is Gunta. He tries to go reverse up and under. Draws the contact and lets the line for 2.
And for as much as we know that High Point can shoot that 3, they've done a really nice job of attacking the basket, especially here in this third quarter.
Right.
And getting to the free throw line as well. And even though it's a 20-point game, hang around for the fourth quarter, because we just might have another special guest that is hanging around today watching tonight's game.
Gunta hits the first.
It's kind of worst case scenario for Wallkill. They really wanted to try to keep it close in this third quarter, but High Point had other plans. You talked about they've had 60 plus in the last handful of games. They're already at 50 right now.
That trend will look to continue. And getting the putback to go is Ortiz. Nice 2 in the lane. Long 3 there by Franco. Gets it to go. And it's the largest the High Point lead has been. It's 23-point advantage. So
yeah, they're not going to stop. I mean, they're gonna keep shooting.
And the defense there, nice defensive effort there by Franco to break up the 3 attempt by Munoz. But it's given right back here to Bila. And he's fouled in the lane.
You got to love, again, Chris's energy, down 23, but still playing his heart out and doing everything he can on both ends of the floor to try to fight and claw his way back into this game as a team. But I mean, if you think about just tonight, Jordan, you've got, I don't remember if Jacob has hit one, but certainly Kyle has, Braden has, Noah Riley has. I mean, they've got already 3 or 4 guys.
They got production all over the board.
That are hitting multiple threes, not even just one. Yeah. And then you got Muller and you got Willis and you got Tennant who are handling everything underneath. I mean, they are really putting together a pretty full game. And at this point in the year, in almost mid-February, I think Coach Strell is thrilled about that. Wallkill come with a 2-2-1 press now, changing it up.
They're able to break it. And a foul here on Munoz.
Coach Pava just trying every change of defense that he can to see if something will work here to try to get them back into this game.
15 foul against High Point. That'll send them to the line for 2. Jacob Gunton, the senior, hits the first.
Jacob's such a big part of this team on both ends. I mean, he's really the head of the snake. Offensively, he really kind of gets everything going. He's such a good facilitator. He could shoot the ball and finishes at the rim really well. But then as you can see here, he can play all the way up on your point guard, on your shooting guard, and really just be a real pest defensively.
Gibson, nice find. Ortiz gets it to go.
Very nice. And that's how you
Kyle
do
Willis.
it. That's how you beat a 2-2-1 press right there. Moving that ball, getting it up the floor as quickly as you can. Really, they're searching, but there's no answers for Wallkill when High Point's playing like this.
Gibson finds Ortiz loitering underneath for the easy 2.
But you got to give them a ton of credit. I mean, Jordan, they're playing their hearts out. Look at this effort, even in a foul. I mean, you got to love it. A lot of teams down 22 might sit back and relax and call it a night, but they are not doing that in the least.
No. So and a foul against Ortiz, so it'll send Gunta to the line for another pair.
And they'll be on the line now for 2 for the rest of this quarter, and then of course the fouls will reset come the fourth quarter. I mean, at this point they might have 80 in their sights, Jordan.
Gunta short, hits 1 of 2. Well, they're at 58. They've scored 60 plus in each of their 3 wins during this soon to become 4-game winning streak. And they're 2 points away from doing that, continuing that streak here tonight. Bila, he draws the foul. He'll head to the line for 2. So Tennant will check back in for High Point. As Kyle Willis will head to the bench. Shot rebounded by Franco. Nice Nice feed down inside. They wanted the foul, no good. Morcell, or pardon me, that was Cole Tennant, who couldn't get it to go, but getting it, the two on the other end is Ortiz for Wallkill.
Ortiz continuing to be aggressive. He's got a couple layups here in this third quarter.
Muller.
And now Wallkill back into their 2-3 that they started out in the first half. But my goodness.
Gunta with the and one.
Jacob has had an excellent third quarter, doing a little bit of everything.
And he converts on the free throw, make it a 24-point advantage. Ortiz can't get it to go, driving underneath the baseline.
I would say maybe they'll hold for the last shot, but knowing the Wildcats like I do, I don't think so.
They continue to push. Cole Tennant with the two.
They're going to keep coming after you. They're going to force you to stop them.
Gokowski thought about the three. Drives down inside, but he's denied there by Gunta.
Now Jacob doing on the defensive end as well.
Nice
Great
find.
Pass.
Morcell can't finish the bunny. And the half-court heave, three-quarter court heave will fall harmlessly. And that will bring the third quarter to an end. 63-37, High Point outscoring Wallkill 27-15 in that third quarter. We'll step aside. Fourth quarter action coming up right after this.
All right, we are back here at Wallkill Valley High School. Today's game is brought to you by Wingle. They provide excavating, paving, and full-service septic services, which includes installations, repairs, and tank pumping service. Call 973-875-2478 or visit their website at rwingle.com for more information as Jacob once again gets back to the free throw line where he has seemingly lived here in this second half. We also want to thank Wallkill Valley Regional High School and Athletic Director Daryl Jones for always taking care of us. We got the perch with the bleachers up top, the bird's eye view up here, which is great. And of course, make sure you check out BrianThomasBasketball.com. We have a President's Day shooting clinic coming up, ironically enough, on President's Day. How crazy is that? Over at Sparta High School. So check that out. We have our final round of spring AAU tryouts coming up this coming Sunday at Sparta High School as well for third graders all the way up through high school kids. BrianThomasBasketball.com. Well, very exciting. We have guest number 2 here this evening. Once again, because we are at Wallkill Valley High School, the HWS, or the Hunter and Warren Sussex semifinals, are this coming Saturday for both the boys and the girls right here at Wallkill. And it just so happens that the Vernon boys will be playing the number 1 seed Phillipsburg at the first game at 11 a.m. on Saturday morning. And we have none other than point guard Alex Fessel from Vernon joining us. Alex, how we doing, bud?
I'm good. How are you, Brian?
I am excellent. We just saw you guys have a great win the other night over Jefferson. How are you guys feeling so far after that win with your momentum coming into this coming Saturday?
We're excited. I mean, Phillipsburg just got ranked 19th in the state.
Wow.
So, you know, I always wanted to play the best, and they're definitely a challenge for us. So it's gonna be a fun game to watch and play.
So you're going to have to fill me in a little bit because I have not seen Phillipsburg play. So give me kind of the scouting report on Phillipsburg and how you guys are thinking about maybe attacking them.
They're really athletic. I mean, it's going to be a really fun game. Probably some couple dunks, but it's okay.
From you?
I wish. I wish.
Well, we saw a big one from Ben the other night. We've seen a couple from Demir, so you never know.
We like to push the pace. Play our game.
Hopefully,
Hopefully play some defense.
That's exciting though, because look, so they used to have the SCIL tournament here, which was all the Sussex County teams, and they had all the bleachers out, and it was the finals, and this place was packed out. So hopefully we'll have a good crowd here, which will be a great atmosphere for you guys. And you've had an excellent season individually. If you watched the game the other night, we talked post-game about how, you've become an excellent scorer, but I think it's your defense and I think it's your passing that really kind of takes you to the next level. And you said something really wise the other day that, you actually like passing more than scoring.
Yeah.
Kind of elaborate on that for us for a little bit. Because people nowadays, it's like, especially with, you got Embiid scoring 35, you got you got, what did he have, 70-something, you got Luka scoring 70.
Yeah.
I mean, the scoring is crazy. But tell us about, and we'll figure out what is going on here. Technical foul, okay. So tell us about your passing ability and why you enjoy that part of the game so much.
I mean, when you watch the NBA, it's a lot of scoring, getting up and down, a lot of threes. And I feel like passing and assists is a little bit of a lost art.
Right.
I mean, you see it in games like Chris Paul, Tyrese Halliburton, who average like 10 assists a game, James Harden. But I love scoring. Don't get me wrong. Like,
of course.
If I can score, I'll go get a good bucket. But I love seeing my teammates happy. Shooting threes, getting layups. Like I love being a part of that.
That's a great answer. I love seeing my teammates happy. As Wallkill bangs down a three here, they're going to stay up in that. Well, they're not going to press as much here, but they're certainly going to continue to apply pressure. So how are you feeling about the state of your team? Ben's playing really well. Demir's playing well. Talk to us about the state of how you guys are playing. As Jacob attacks the basket with that left hand.
Beginning of the season, we had a couple rough losses, but we had players step up. So, I mean, we're looking pretty good. The off-season work with you, of course.
My man.
Really helped us in the long run.
Excellent. So, you know a lot of these guys on the floor. You're teammates with a lot of them in the off-season. You're friends with them off the court. Kind of give us your assessment of this game so far that obviously High Point is in full control of at the moment.
I mean, no, I don't know if Noah's played the second half, but the first half he had 3 threes, a couple layups, getting to the foul line. Jacob does what he does, get his teammates open. He's definitely a pass-first guard.
Sure.
Before, shooting, and I love that about Jacob. Braden, a great shooter. It was a little slow to start, but he's picking it up now.
Sure has.
And then for Wallkill, even though Dylan hasn't scored as much, he's definitely impacted the game. His presence has been known on the court for sure. Chris is getting up and down the floor. I love Chris. And Nick Gibson, their rebounder, their shooter. He's played well tonight.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. You might have a future here, buddy. You're nailing that. I mean, and you've seen this before with these guys, with the shooters that High Point has. They go on those bursts where they're going to hit 3 or 4 in a row. We talked about it earlier, where a 5 or 6 point game goes to 15, 16, 17 in a matter of 90 seconds.
Yeah.
And you guys have that ability too. So you certainly know what that's like. Well, Alex, we're proud of you. You've had a great individual season, and you guys are really starting to play as you want to at the right time. So good luck on Saturday. Let's get after that upset and pull it off, and then roll to states from there.
Thank you.
All right, buddy. All right, 23-point game here, 67-44. You got to love, Jordan, that again, in a 23-point game, Wallkill's not rolling over here. No. I mean, the activity and energy level is still very, very high.
Credit to Ed Pava and his coaching staff keeping them with it. The kids sticking with them, certainly not playing, not tuning them out, playing to the final whistle.
100% correct. There's an excellent coaching staff over there on the Wallkill side, and of course, certainly on the High Point side as well.
Dan Gibson, Mike Falk, accompanying Ed Pava on the Ranger bench this season. Corner 3 put up by Klukowski, got it to go.
Now they're going to come up man to man. They got a little mismatch here, a little miscommunication, which is why I don't think Noah was being guarded all the way up.
This is Muller with it for High Point. And now Jacob Gunter, the senior. He's had himself a very nice night.
Sure has.
On both ends of the floor.
Ooh.
And he'll head to the line for 2 more.
And he's been relentless going to the basket in this second half. I mean, he's been on the line many times so far. He's so shifty, you know, he's got that first move, but usually with a kid like this, it's not always the first move that gets you. Maybe it's the second or the third. You know, you get complacent and you think you're okay, and then bang, he's gone.
So he gets the first. He goes 1 and 2. Ball still loose, and Gunter gets the rebound.
Little volleyball action broke out.
Comes out here to Noah Riley to reset the High Point offense. Riley dribbles left side, lost it on the way in. And a reach-in foul against Slade Muller. Team second.
Be interesting to see how long each team goes without really going deep into their bench. I would imagine you get to maybe the 4-minute mark or a little bit under that, and it's still 20 plus.
Wachowski has it, loses the dribble.
Again.
And Gunter can't get it to go, but the putback unable to go either.
And Jordan, part of the reason that Jacob has been able to get to the basket in the second half is because of that 3-point shooting. So what happens is, as a help side defender, you're afraid to leave and come off and help when you know Jacob's just going to kick it out and find him for a wide open 3. So you're like, no, I'm just not going to help because I'm not going to have time to get back here because they shoot the ball so well and Jacob could find everybody so well. So what that does is that basically leaves a big hole right down the middle, and Jacob with that quick first step, as we talked about, can get right to the basket pretty much at will.
And a foul here against High Point. We'll send Indo Ortiz to the line for a pair. Foul against Noah Riley, his first. Team's third of this fourth quarter. And Jaden Galarza will check back in for Wallkill. And he misses on the second. Rebound comes to Gunter. Catch and shoot 3. Noah Riley off the mark. Into Ortiz. Nice bounce pass to Chris Bila, and a quick timeout here by Jesse Strell, and presumably just for some substitutions, maybe get some JV kids in there.
Yeah, I think he wants to talk about what they want to do offensively. I think he wants to just make sure he's telling his guys, hey, let's make sure we're working a little bit of clock here. Let's make sure we're taking great shots. We're in no rush. You know, it's a 19-point game, but it's not necessarily. I mean, you feel like maybe it's over, but the way Wallkill is playing, I mean, they're not acting like it's over. They're still trying to get back and win this game. So, you know, you got to make sure that you're getting the best shots available. But also, hey, let's move the ball. Let's make sure we're working some clock here. And then we go back and defend.
Wallkill's outscored High Point 12-5 in this fourth quarter.
And again, give a lot of credit to the Wallkill Valley coaching staff. You know, they have instilled in their players that we're not going to quit. You know, we're going to keep fighting no matter what the score. And they've been able to do that so far. And that always comes from the coaching staff. You know, you build that into your culture and in your environment that, look, we play hard no matter what.
Ed Pava certainly, he's no stranger to the sidelines. He's coached at Sussex Tech, rather.
Right.
The girls. Also did coaches softball, does Ed Pava. Fantastic softball coach.
And was the girls basketball coach here before he became the boys coach. So he's done a little bit of everything and is excellent at all of it. And now you can see, I think that timeout was effective where High Point is looking to make sure, look at Jacob once again.
Attacking again off the dribble. Can't get it to go though. Galarza's rebound.
Nice pass.
And he gets the deuce on the other end. Nice fourth quarter here there by Wallkill.
Absolutely. And with the way they've played, I don't think they're going to bring subs in until the last minute or so. They want to try to build on this fourth quarter momentum and maybe learn something from it.
Franco lets it fly. Off the mark. Rebound. Kwiatkowski. Kwiatkowski gives it up. Bila. Oh, can't get it to go. Down and out. And we have a whistle and I believe a foul going against High Point, with 3:26 remaining here in the fourth quarter. So it'll be Chris Bila to the line for a pair. Hits on the first.
Should be interesting on Saturday with the HWS coming up. You know, I think the Vernon boys, even though Phillipsburg is the #1 seed, I think they got a fighter's chance. I mean, we saw them play pretty well the other night against Jefferson, and they're really rounding into shape as Coach Pava calls a timeout. And then, of course, you got a couple other Sussex County teams representing. You got the Pope John girls, who are the #1 seed, and you got the Sparta girls, who had a big upset. I believe they're the 6th seed. So they're going to be coming in here, and of course, which would be most exciting outcome is that, at least for Sussex County folks, is that Pope John and Sparta both win. And then the following Friday, the 16th, which is over at Centenary, we'd have another Pope John Sparta HWS final, which would be certainly unexpected this year, but that's always fun. So, you know, we'll see what happens this coming Saturday, which is again going to be right here at Wallkill Valley High School.
Yeah, well, first time Wallkill Valley hosting an HWS final, like the old SCIL festival days, maybe a little bit, Brian.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. I remember those days fondly. We had 3 years in a row here where we ended up bringing home the chip, baby, in the SCIL finals right here. And this place was packed to the gills. I mean, I remember back in the day watching John Deeb and Chris Gent play here, standing room only, and this is the biggest gym in the area. I mean, you got a couple schools like, you know, Pac-On, who has built gyms since then. They may be a little bit bigger, but back in the day, this was hands down the biggest gym in the area. And imagine this place. You've probably been here, but just full house because it was an event. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, even if you weren't rooting for, let's say, Sparta or Newton or whoever, the entire county wanted to come out and see the best basketball. So
coaches from all over the county came over, spent the day here.
Yeah, so it really was an event. It was a lot of fun. So I'm really happy that they're doing the semifinals here on Saturday, and hopefully Sussex County will once again show up and represent with a good crowd.
The folks at Peaburg will have an early start, 11 a.m. tip, getting out here to Wallkill Valley in Hamburg, New Jersey.
Certainly an advantage for Vernon there. I mean, they're just right up the road. So
Connor Healy and the boys will and the Vikings will hope to spring the upset and punch their ticket and win the championship there. That would be a great story there for the Vikings.
And suddenly just down to 13. I mean, Wallkill's played really well in this fourth quarter.
Just chipping away here in the fourth quarter. Bilo gets his hands on another interception and another 2.
And another timeout for Coach Strell now, down to 11. I mean, we thought this game was over. We thought, hey, when are subs coming in?
Yeah.
And Wallkill had a very different idea of how they were going to finish this basketball game out.
Well, Brian, really, I mean, we were just talking credit to Ed Pava, his coaching staff.
Yeah.
Instilling the will and the fight in this team. And Brian, like you said, I mean, that is instilled from day one, from from the top all the way through the rest of the program.
Without a doubt.
And now you're down 11. And now, if you're High Point, mentally you sort of maybe shut it off a little bit. And now you got to rev the engine back up. Oftentimes, not easy to do.
No, not easy at all. I mean, obviously the big thing that's on their side is there's only 2:42 left, because it feels like if there was 4:42, they might be in a boatload of trouble, and they still might be. But they've got senior leadership. They've got Braden Franco. They've got Jake Gunter, who can now relax and be like, okay, guys, we got this. So I would expect them to handle the ball a lot and make a lot of these decisions coming down the stretch. But you're 100% correct. You're all of a sudden looking up. You're like, wait a second. I thought this game was over. Like, we were figuring out what we're going to do for food afterwards.
Right.
How are we now in a dogfight? Like, this is crazy.
So it'll be High Point possession coming out of the timeout. 68-57, 2:42 to play. And things just getting a little interesting here in the final 2:42 of this one.
I mean, I believe it was up to 23 at one point, was their biggest margin.
They have outscored High Point 20-5 in this fourth quarter.
Wow. We're talking about them maybe getting 80, and now they're just trying to hold on for the W.
Big possession here.
Very.
Noah Riley working on Munoz. Gets in the hands of Gunta, the senior.
And this is what they want. Take their time, make sure you get a good shot.
Riley perhaps maybe thought about the long three. Pulls it out. Morcell to Gunta as we approach the 2-minute mark of this fourth quarter.
And this is the possession that Coach Strell has been waiting for and looking for.
And Ed Pava calls for the foul from the bench. And
yep, and that's what they have to do. This was about a 40-second possession, whereas the previous 5 or 6 or 7 possessions were probably under 15 seconds.
so that's the 4th team foul on Wallkill. Next one will put High Point to the line. 3rd team foul on Ortiz. 3rd personal, rather. They get it into Morcell.
And the problem for Wallkill is most everybody on the floor for High Point are very good free throw shooters.
Right. And Gunta
Nice job.
just drives through.
Senior leadership.
Drives
See?
through the lane and pulls it back out.
That's correct.
Take another 10 to 15 off the clock, and he's fouled. And Gunta will head to the line for a pair.
And I have no doubt that's exactly what Coach Strell stressed in that last timeout. It's like, guys, we got to take our time here. Okay, if we have an open shot, let's take it and let's try to knock it down. But if we don't, we got to work some clock. So this possession has been, we're 7 seconds shy of a full minute.
So Nick Gibson will check in for Galarraza, pardon me. Gunta goes 1 of 2 at the stripe. And Vila gets it to go. Quick timeout by Ed Pava.
And Chris has had an excellent game. He's been a force on both ends of the floor. So, of course, Jordan Wallkill is going to come with some press. The question is, are they going to go with the 2-2-1, which they've done? Are they going to go straight man-to-man? Are they going to do a little bit of run and jump? Let's see what they've got up their sleeve.
Down 10 with 1:41 left here in the 4th. Wallkill winning the 4th quarter, outscoring High Point 22-6 in the 4th quarter. And Brian, you'd like to thank our sponsors once again tonight.
Yeah, so much thanks to Wingle. They provide excavating, paving, and full-service septic services, which includes installations, repairs, and tank pumping service. You can call 973-875-2478, or you can visit their website at rwingle.com for more information. They are excellent. If you are in need of any of those services, please check them out. And big shout out to Daryl Jones and Wallkill here for hosting us as always, taking care of us. And make sure you don't forget to check out BrianThomasBasketball.com. President's Day Shooting Clinic coming up in less than a couple weeks over at Sparta High School. Going to teach you how to shoot the rock. And our final round of spring AAU tryouts are this coming Sunday. If you want to play in the spring, make sure you get the tryouts. Find out all the information, BrianThomasBasketball.com.
So High Point will inbound here. Braden Franco
Here's our
to send
answer.
it in for High Point.
Yeah, Jordan, straight man-to-man. They're looking to go baseball pass, finish it off.
Muller gets behind the defense, but it's blocked on the way up. Galarraza with the deflection. Ortiz lets it fly. Drew nothing but air. And Ed Pava not happy with the shot selection, because that was about as perfect of a scenario as Ed Pava and the Rangers could have hoped for.
They almost went baseball pass again, but guarded better this time.
And a quick foul against Morcell, who led to the line for 2.
But that's the extra effort we've been talking about. Looked like Slade Muller had a wide open layup, but not quite.
So Kyle Morcell, the junior, will head to the line for 2.
High Point's got to hit their free throws. They're going to be on the line the rest of this last 129.
Klokowski picked up that last personal, his 4th. And Nick Gibson will check back in. Galarraza will head to the bench.
And that's been the one area where High Point has really struggled tonight. It's the free throw line. I mean, we don't have the percentages in front of us, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was hovering around the 50 or 60% mark.
So another 1 and 2 there. Wallkill gets it under a minute and a half to play. Picking up his dribble is Ortiz. B looking to drive, take on 2 high-point defenders. Nearly lost it on the way through. Ends up in the hands of Munoz to Klokowski, and Klokowski draws the reach-in foul against Muller.
And that's going to be 5, which is going to send Dillon to the line. That's the last thing that High Point wanted, is to stop the clock and give them a chance for a couple free ones here.
So hitting on the first is Klokowski.
Coach Pava doing a little offense-defense substitution.
Gibson right back to the bench. Galarza checks right back in.
As you know, they're going to come hot and heavy with that full-court man-to-man press. Once again, got to be aware of that baseball pass going all the way down. Oh, big offensive rebound.
And he goes back up and gets the 2.
Boy, they are not going quietly.
It's 8 with a minute 5 to play. And a whistle and a foul, and it's going to go send Noah Riley to the line for 2.
You know, it's funny, the other day when we were doing, I forget which game it was. Maybe it was the Jefferson-Vernon game. Maybe it was the game before that, where a 4-point game, it felt like it was 12, right?
Yeah.
Well, this 8-point game here feels like it's 2. You know, it's like the opposite. So now the pressure starts to build on these free throws, because suddenly Wallkill has 62 points. You know, so you feel like they're going to score almost every time. So every time they go to the line now, High Point, like the tension mounts a little bit. Big one from Riley.
They put up 25 in this 4th quarter. They had 37 through the first 3.
Wow.
So they have found something.
It was the Sparta Jefferson girls game. Remember the low scoring game that we had? It felt like, you know, Jefferson took a 2-point lead and it felt like they were up by double digits.
Another 1 and 2. Another chance here for Wallkill to chip away at this 9-point lead.
I think Coach Strell might be working on free throw shooting come next practice.
Gibson's 3, no good. Rebound snatched down by Franco, and he draws the foul.
And that was the one right there. That would have been the one to get it all the way down to 6. And then you really feel like, hang on now. We might have something here. I know Coach Strell will be thrilled at some point, which might be right now, for one of his guys to hit both free throws.
Franco hits the first. Hits them both.
There it is.
Klokowski has it swatted out of bounds, stays here with the Rangers. Slade Muller with the defensive efforts. Quick inbounds play, rejected again, Muller.
Muller with that length. He does a really nice job of blocking shots without fouling.
Bila gets it into Klokowski. Klokowski backs his way down inside. Can't get it to go. Schoolyard play keeps it in bounds. Catch and shoot 3 from Gibson. No good. Rebounded by High Point, and Morcell brought it down for the Wildcats, and a foul in the front court here will send Braden Franco to the line for another pair with 26.8 showing here on the clock. And he hits the first. Although High Point comes away with the victory, presumably come away with the victory in the final 26-8. Valiant effort though by the Rangers, Brian.
Was it ever?
They're currently outscoring the High Point Wildcats 25-12 in this 4th quarter. Ed Pavic was going to call off the fouls, and one more committed by his team.
Yeah, you're right, because literally we were talking about the 4.5 minute mark. It's okay, when are they going to start both teams getting their subs in? Because this game felt like a wrap. And next thing you know, they just so much credit. Now part of it, and again, this goes back to that timeout that Coach Strell called that really changed the last 2 minutes of this game. But High Point made some poor decisions from about the 5-minute mark to about the 2-minute mark. You know, taking shots that were too quick, turning the ball over, not valuing the basketball. And then as he called that timeout, I have no doubt that he talked a lot about that. And again, the senior leadership stepped up. Jacob took some time off the clock. Franco's now hit 6 free throws in a row. And they're going to walk out here with a W. But so much credit to Wallkill for continuing to fight and not quit. Exciting fourth quarter to watch.
McCarty for 3, no good. Rebound chased down by Morcell, and that will do it. 77-62 our final score. High Point and Jesse Strell and the High Point Wildcats with the victory. They improved to 16-5 on the season. Their 3-game winning streak, pardon me, will go to 4. Wallkill Valley and the Rangers, they will fall to 8-14. High Point their next game will be in action Saturday at Morristown Beard. And for Wallkill Valley, they will pick it up again Saturday at the Passaic Charter School. So Brian Thomas will come back with post-game reaction from Jesse Strell and the High Point Wildcats. We'll step aside. We'll come back. Post-game interviews coming up right after this.
Here at Wallkill Valley Regional High School with a much tighter than we expected win here. We're up first here with Jake Gunther. Tell us about what happened in that fourth quarter. Like, you guys were in full control of that game, and all of a sudden, you guys are up 8 points. But the last handful of possessions, you got the basketball, you really spaced the floor, you didn't rush anything. Talk about how your maturity and senior leadership really kicked in at that point.
Right, so I think during the third quarter, right, we had the huge lead. We were making a lot of shots. We were playing fast, and they were playing aggressive on us, and we were playing fast. So when the fourth quarter came around and we had to slow down a little bit, we didn't slow down immediately. We were still playing a little bit too fast, and we had to slow down. They kept the pressure on us, and then we got into the awkward phase of like trying to slow down a little bit. And once we got to the point where we needed to slow down, that's when we started to do better. But that awkward phase, I think that's what messed us up. When we were trying to get a shot off because they were leaving us a little bit open on offense, but we didn't need to get a shot off. We needed to pass the ball around. I think at that point, it was up to like me and Braden and Noah too to get the ball and like slow it all down. I think that's what helped us win the game, honestly.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Jacob. Kyle Morcell, come on in here. We talked about your float game on the air. Your jumper was on point tonight, but you really like to get into that 10 or 12-foot range. And again, you have amazing touch because that's a very difficult shot. Just talk about your offensive game and how you feel like it's progressed.
I mean, it really starts on warm-ups, taking 20 floaters from both sides of the courts, taking threes on the move, not taking these stationary threes, and it feels like I already took that shot. Coming into this gym, we played in here once before, so it's kind of familiar, but it really starts on warm-ups, taking those shots on warm-ups, taking the warm-ups serious, and taking the warm-ups like you are in the game. That's
awesome.
what it is.
Great job, Kyle. Braden Franco, come on in. 6 big free throws down the stretch to seal that game when you guys needed it the most. This was a bit of a revenge game for you guys, right? You guys came in here and they beat you back in December. So what was the mentality coming in here from an entire team standpoint?
I mean, the mentality was to be tough. The first game we played, we weren't tough enough, especially against a 2-3 zone. Like 25 turnovers, that's a little bit too much. Yeah. So when we came out, first couple possessions, we were turning the ball over. So we wanted to slow it down, reel it in. And then I think that's where we really got going with our threes, getting to the paint, floaters from Kyle. And I mean, rebounding was a big key.
Yeah. Awesome. Nice job, Braden. Coach Jesse Strell, congratulations.
Thank you,
big
Brian.
win. Obviously, you guys can shoot it, and when you guys are shooting it well, you're at your best. But what are the other aspects of the game that you continue to focus on your kids? Because as you know, the three-point shot tends to come and go. So when it's not there, what are you really emphasizing for your guys?
It's defense, man. I'm a defensive coach. We pride ourselves on playing good D. Whether it's man-to-man or we've really been working on a little bit of the zone stuff. And the guys are doing a good job being active. Playing team D. It's 5 guys against the ball. It's not a one-on-one game. So we try to play good team defense, hang our hat on that side of the floor, because we know shots come and go. And proud of our big guys are coming along, and some of our other guys. Noah Riley wasn't up here, but Noah had a great game in that second and third quarter to really get the lead for us.
So you guys were in full control of that game. We were literally talking about when are subs going to come in because it felt like it was over. And next thing you know, and you expect that from an Ed Pava coach team. They're going to fight. They're going to keep playing. But what about your senior leadership, Braden, Jacob, to kind of slow everything down and to regain control of that game in the last, say, 2 minutes and 30 seconds?
Yeah, man, absolutely. Credit to Wallkill. They never back down. They played for 32 minutes. They're not gonna stop. So just to have a little bit of that composure. You need seniors if you want to win. So we've been talking to our guys about that, and Braden and Jacob, and we got Kyle. Willis played some big minutes. We need those guys to lean on them and just stay calm. And I know Jacob got to the free throw line I don't know how many times at the end of that game, and Braden got there too. And just make your free throws, play some defense. We would like to win by a little bit more, but we'll take it.
That's right. Congratulations, Coach. Good luck the rest of the way.
Appreciate it.
Thanks again for tuning in, BT Broadcasting. And stay on that YouTube channel. We got more games coming up. Enjoy your night.
Take care, guys. Thank you for coming out.
Nice job, fellas. Cool. Great work. Yeah.